This is just a quick follow-up to the last two videos. The Megapixel Wars have actually been over now for the past few years, but they're just starting again. And as I've told you before, that realistically, like for example, the Nikon D700. I mean, it's a 12.1 megapixel camera. I mean, it'll print out gorgeous 20 by 30 prints. I mean, I've even seen large posters printed off the D700, and they're absolutely gorgeous. Now, if you want to zoom in really tight and crop, well, that's another issue. But I mean, as far as making prints that any wedding would be happy to have if properly composed and lit, it's not an issue. So the Megapixel Wars have been over for a few years, but the Megapixel Wars are starting up again. And there's two reasons for that, well, really three and four, but and the main reason is 4K monitors, 4K displays, and also it's either innovate or die. I mean, Sony, Nikon, and Canon, they've all been sitting on this for 3 years now. Actually, I'm 100% positive that SanDisk could have rolled out the much faster CFast cards like 2 years ago. They claim that they've been working on it, and it's not a conspiracy theory. I know it's total BS. It's just total BS. Nikon and Canon have been squeezing all they can out of DX sensors and FX sensors and likewise cameras. The buffers have been there. The processing to handle the 50 megapixel sensors have been there. As I also told you, the new 50 megapixel sensor that Canon's rolling out is technically a 60. I heard it's 62 megapixel. I know it is at least 60 megapixels, but they're limiting the sample rate, which is awesome for them, which means a year or two after that they could roll out a 60 and use the same sensor. Just a higher sampling rate, a little bit faster processor, thanks to Intel or AMD micro devices, and the CF cards are going to come down. So while it is true that the Megapixel Wars are over, and obviously, I mean, even with a 12 megapixel sensor, you can print out anything. And you can find thousands of articles on the internet that state that the Megapixel Wars are over. This is true, but it's also 100% untrue. The Megapixel Wars are starting again. And A, it's to support the 4K monitors. B, I mean, it's going to be a wildlife photographer's boon, because you could take a full frame image like this, you can crop in like this on a bird or something that's really far away, and still make out a beautiful, 11 by 17 or 20 by 30, I mean, cropping in on the sensor that's really small like that on the actual image. And of course, the file sizes are going to be huge. But it's going to be a huge boon for PC, Apple, and Mac. It's going to be a huge boon for SanDisk, a huge boon for Samsung and LG and everybody else who wants to crank out. I mean, everything you have now is going to look like obsolete shit. Excuse my language. So, this quick addendum to the prior two videos is basically saying that the Megapixel Wars are firing up again. And I knew it was coming, and Canon announced it, and just as everything was trailing off and everybody was stopped worrying about, so I can get good enough prints, 20 by 30s out of a 12 megapixel. I mean, hellfire, my 36 megapixel Nikon D810, I mean, I can make just gorgeous, huge prints off that sucker. Stick it in 400 ISO, stick a nice lens on the front of it, and, just bam, just gorgeous pictures. But it's either innovate or die. You got to crank out new crap, because you can't keep peddling the old crap, because your sales will go like this. You have to invent new stuff for people to lust after. I mean, the consumer market, I mean, whether you like it or hate it, it doesn't matter, but it can only survive. Its very breath, its very existence is innovate or die. So the Megapixel Wars are starting again. Do you need it? Probably not. Is it going to impel an enormous amount of people that are going to be drooling like some sort of prison inmate that's been stuck in prison for 30 years and he's been let out and he's, he sees a hot chick in a bathing suit? I mean, yeah, it's going to be exactly like that. So even though you don't need it, people are going to be lusting after it, and it's going to take Nikon and Canon and Sony just up like that. but it's going to be driving so many more industries. Data storage, PC, Apple, 4K monitor displays, SanDisk and Lexar, Nikon, Canon and Sony. They're all going to be getting rich because they're going to have the necessary, you're going to have the necessary support platforms for these, for data storage, for processing. You're going to be processing raw files that are upwards of 54, 55 megabytes, and your current PC or Mac is screw that. You're going to have to get a new computer. You're going to have to get a new display because your current 27-inch, whatever you got, Samsung, LG, ain't going to cut it, so you got to get that. And you're going to have to get new storage card media, the new SanDisk CFast cards, and whatever Lexar spills out. So the megapixel wars are on, baby. I knew they wasn't ending, and so now all these tens and tens of thousands of articles on the internet that say the megapixel wars are over, well, they're accurate, but now they're dead wrong because they're starting up again, and I've given you the logical reasons, A, B, C, X, Y, Z, why not only it is happening, it must happen. It's not that it's necessitated, which it is, but it's going to happen, it has to happen, it is happening, there's absolutely no way around it. I mean, Nikon or Canon, neither one of them want to commit suicide, and this is going to help everybody. Hard drive makers, PC, Mac, SanDisk, Lexar, Samsung and LG for new 4K displays. Everybody is going to be rolling around in a big bucket of money because you and everybody else is going to want it, because a couple of years, you're going to look, well, you got that old piece of crap that's shooting 36 megapixels. I mean, get with the program, man. Upgrade your shit. I mean, that's always how it works, and it's not going to fail. I don't care if you like it or not. It's the way it is, and you're going to have to deal with it. So this is the nature of the future of digital photography. So the megapixel wars are on again, baby. They're starting up now. They were dying off. So all the bullshit that you read that megapixel wars are dead, ignore that, because that's no longer the case. Anyway, catch you later.